Welcome to our live stream, episode 115. This is Sumrine.
And it's Carlos.
And Carlos today is going to show you how to get started with MATRIX Lite. It's our new library layer that is a wrapper around HAL. Carlos can tell you more about it. I will leave it off to Carlos here.
Okay, so to get started, what we're going to be using is a matrix creator with matrix HAL pre-installed. If you don't know, HAL is our lowest level abstraction layer that uses C++. And just to show you real quick, here's the, hold on, the mouse here? Yeah, okay. So really quick, we have the Everloop demo from HAL running on here. And can you switch it to the desktop here?
Give me 1 second. Do you want this to be showing or that to be showing?
No, just that.
Okay.
Okay. So you can see we have right here just a empty Raspberry Pi with HAL pre-installed, and that is it. So to get started, I'm going to explain exactly what MATRIX Lite is and what it does. Oh, wrong camera. So if you go to our documentation page, we've made some recent edits, and if you go to programming layers, you'll notice right above HAL we've added a new section called MATRIX Lite. And we currently support JavaScript, and we have Python in development as of right now. And to give like an overall summary is that we basically, this new layer takes a new approach. Unlike Core, which uses a local server to communicate, MATRIX Lite, what it does is that it exposes HAL to different languages. So we've made a Nodejs add-on which allows you to call C++, and we are calling HAL through that.
Can you zoom into the page so that they can see it better?
You can see?
Yeah.
There you go. And with Python, we're doing something similar, but we're using, we obviously can't use a Node.js add-on, so we're using a, I guess you can say like a, it's a, I guess like a platform called Swig, which, I'm trying to think of a good way for it, but basically we're using a thing called Swig, which allows you to compile to different languages. So just to get started, let me click on read more about MATRIX Lite. So the documentation is very clean. There's, we tried to just leave what you need right now. So let's start installation. Because MATRIX Lite depends on matrix HAL, you're going to have that pre-installed, which is why we have it already on our device. And then for now, just, right now we only have JavaScript, and when Python's done, we'll fill in that section. But for now, we're just going to install Node.js and set up the project. So we're going to go to our Raspberry Pi's terminal. We're already SSH'd inside, so I'm just going to copy and paste each line. So what this does is, right now I'm installing Node.js, the latest version. Yeah, version 11.11. So let that go. And I already start copying the next line. So the next line is just some simple commands to get your project, just an empty project folder already started. So let that install, and just to make sure it works, I'm going to type in node-v, and we can see it's already installed. It gives us the version number. So now, if we go to what's inside, we have the HAL project, which is just what was pre-installed. Now, I forgot to copy and paste this. So now we're going to make an empty node project called Lite.js. Now if we go back to our desktop, hold on, let me cd back out. So to show you the changes, we added a new folder right here, Lite.js. We're going to go inside of it. And then inside, we're going to have an empty index.js and a package.json file. So now we're going to install the MATRIX Lite library. So just paste that in there. So when you install the MATRIX Lite library for the JavaScript version, you're downloading this repository right here. Let me click right here. It's gonna download this automatically and auto build all of the basically all the dependencies you need. So you compile the library on your Raspberry Pi. So let me go back. Okay, so right now it's building the library and node gyp rebuild, and just give that like a good 20 seconds, and then I'll get straight forward to some examples. In the meantime, while that's compiling, I'm going to go to CyberDuck, refresh the Pi folder, and go inside here and open index.js through VS Code, so we can actually start programming this. So the difference between MATRIX Lite, or at least the goal for MATRIX Lite, is to make programming simpler compared to Core and HAL, to abstract more ways so users can use JavaScript and Python, which are loosely typed languages that most people tend to have faster development speed on. So to get started, we have it running and installed. And let me just make sure, check package.json. There you go. And yep, we got it installed. So let me go back to our docs. Alright, so we have the installation done. I'm gonna go to next steps, and we're gonna go to the reference page for what we can play around with. So the first thing I'm gonna mess around with is the Everloop. So we've added some features similar to MOS for the Everloop, where instead of just passing in RGBW, you can also pass in a string of the name of the color, the RGB value in the string, or the hex value. So for web developers, this would be similar to CSS values that you use for websites. So just to try this out, we're going to copy this line right here, which is the import statement. Add that to index.js, move back, and then just to try it out, we have the Everloop reference has two things in there. We have .length, which is a variable that tells you how many LEDs. So in this case, is it showing?
No, it's showing this one.
So in this case, we have 35. So just to test that that's working, I'm going to copy this and just log the value. So console.log, matrix.led.length. I'm also going to zoom in a bit so you can see a bit easier. And now if I run node index, oh, did that not run? Oh, forgot to save, my bad. There we go. We'll see that we outputted 35. So the reason we have this is because of our voice product. So when you switch between the two devices, if you have an LED program, you can make it, you can at least have support for both devices. So let's move back now to actually edit the LED. So just really quickly, oh, actually I can just type this out. It's simple enough. So let's make the LED purple. So matrix.led.set, parentheses, and let's type in the color you want. So we'll use purple. Run that, and here, let me just press enter, and should be bright purple. Sorry, that's a little too bright.
Yeah.
So that's just one way. So as you can see, we can do again RGB hex, and if you want to turn all the LEDs off, just as easy, you can type in black, and since you can't really have black as a light, it'll just turn the LEDs off. So moving back, another neat feature is that edits the entire, because we have our array of LEDs can be treated like an array. So that's what MATRIX Lite is doing for this one, is that we could pass it a string, and we could also pass it an array of strings. So we can do, let's see, we're going to do a sequence of red, going to have green, and then the third LED is going to be blue. So if I do this, show you here, you'll see these LEDs, only 3, have turned to the colors we set. And if you zoom in, which might be a little hard to see, can you see that there?
Kinda see
Yeah,
it,
a bit above the LED, you'll see numbers that say D1 through, I think, 35. Yeah, D1 through 35. So that's what the LED, when you mess around with the array, you're actually, the first slot in the array would be D1 on the Matrix Voice or Creator. So just so you know. And so we have arrays as an input. These arrays can hold strings. And if you want to use the white, so what the strings do, they use the RGB values of the LEDs, but we also have a WLED. So if you want to use that, you'd have to pass in an object. Let me show you right now. So you pass in an object with red, which is just going to be R as, let's say, 0, blue as 0, green, 0, and then you have the option of white. We're going to set that to 0 really quick. So we're going to show each one at a time. So let me see if we're going to just turn on the red LED to the lowest value possible. So right here, you should see that can you see that?
Yeah. You can kind of see
LEDs are red. So we're going to go in sequence through each color. So I'm going to turn on blue right now. So it's a little hard to tell with the camera, but right now...
Maybe we should make it more than one, just to see it a little
It's hard to see on the camera, but I'll also... So I'm going to show you, if you turn on RG and B, you'll also get white. So that should, for the most part, be clearly white.
You can see.
So that's only 3 of the LEDs, so if we turn on the white one, you'll notice it'll even get brighter. Wait.
Yeah,
there you go.
You can tell, yeah.
So that's just a handy feature you can have. And also, you can also put this object in an array as well. So you can combine it with the way that you use a string as well. So we can have that and red. Oh, my bad. Red. So we'll have one white LED and one red LED. There you go. Yeah, it should be pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. The red one blinds the white one a little, but you can still tell.
Well, if we really want to, we can also make it to 255. Oh yeah, for the RGB values, it's from 0 to 255. So let me also... There you go. Now the white one just obliterates the red one. Okay, so that pretty much covers the LED and all you need to know for there. Now the next part would be the sensors. So, and also you can look at the documentation and see just quick examples. Also on the GitHub repo, we also have some plug-and-play examples as well. If you want to just, it's less explanation, but for the most part you should get the gist of it. But let's go back to the docs, and let's see. Okay, next step, we're gonna go check out the sensors. So the sensors is only compatible for the creator because the voice is voice-oriented, so we don't have IMUs or humidity sensors. So start off, we have the import statement, which we already put on our script. And all it is for each sensor, IMU, UV, humidity, and pressure, is just the name of the sensor and .read. So quick way to show this.
We weren't kidding when we said one line of code.
So actually, well, I can show this really quick from here. So if I do matrix.imu.read. So this returns an object with all the values we need. So let me clear this and run this. There we go. So you can this whole basket of data for the IMU sensor for accelerometer, gyroscope, yaw, a pitch roll, your magnetometer, and that's all just conveniently placed in one function. So you can assign this to a variable and read the value. And the way it works is that the more you call it, every time you call it, it gets the most recent update. So an example is that you can have a loop. So I'm just going to do a set interval really quickly. And let me just make it 50 milliseconds. And then I'm going to call imu.read, and you're going to see the values constantly change. So I'll do this, save it. There we go. And if I rotate this around, you can see some values shifting there and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the point gets across. So that's an easy way you can use sensors and just easily just bootstrap that into any project. So also just to show off the other sensors, I may as well go through the whole list. It's IMU. We're also going to check the UV sensor. Actually, may as well keep that in the loop. So I'm going to replace IMU with UV. Save that. And start that. There you go. So as you can see, the current UV value, I have to turn the LEDs off. So the UV sensor on the Matrix Creator, I think should be on top. So it's located around the top here. You can actually read the components and see. So if I cover this, you'll see the numbers drop to 0. Then when I let go, the numbers will pick up light again. So there we go. And that's UV. Now check out the next one is humidity.
Before you do the next one, do you want to turn off the LEDs so they don't blind us?
Oh yeah, let me turn that off really quickly. So just if you pass in nothing. Oh, another thing, if you pass in nothing to the LED function, like this, what I'm doing right now, it'll just default to black, which means off. And also now let me also start reading the humidity sensor. So just to show the output of that. All right, humidity, it's working good. And then check out the pressure sensor. Run it again. There we go. So just should be very straightforward to anyone that has knowledge on JavaScript, and if you're looking to learn, this should be very straightforward to pick up. Okay, so that goes over the basic sensors we have in the device, and now we're going to go over Gpio. So this is going to be the last thing I'll show you for MATRIX Lite, and then I'll get into a bit more about where this is going to go in the future. So for Gpio, we actually have a breadboard right here to actually like physically show you how it works. But
you want me to switch it?
Yeah, the switch over here so I can show. Can you do
the screen plus switch?
The screen that?
Yeah.
Okay, so before I do the full screen here, I'm gonna just turn the creator over and then go back to the code to at least set it up. So we're gonna show you how you can read digital, so you can check if a pin is receiving or isn't receiving signal. So we're gonna go back here, delete what we wrote. So right now we're just gonna check if a pin is receiving or isn't receiving signal. So all right, we have a set function method right here. So what this does is that you can tell it if the pin's going to use PWM or digital, which is just on-off. So right here we're going to set pin 0 to be digital, and then we're also going to set it so that it's receiving input. So it's going to expect a signal. There we go. Pin 0 is going to be reading an input, and then we have a get digital function. So when it receives the input, we can actually log what the current state is. So this means we can check if the pin is on or off. So if I do set interval again, let me just should have saved the last code for this, but let me just do again about 50 milliseconds. So if I log this and see the value here, it should just output 0. There we go. And what's cool is that if I put my finger on the pin, it'll turn to 1. So that's a neat feature. Okay,
you want to do it in front of the camera? Nice.
That's fun to play around with. So another cool feature is that was just my finger, but I could also have another. I can have one pin directly connected to. So say pin 1 connected to pin 0, and I can actually just 0. Here's an example. So I can turn pin 1 on and then have it contact pin 0 through a wire really quick. So let me just change this to 1. It'll be digital still, and it'll be output instead of input. So we set up pin 0 and pin 1, and then I can, there you go. That should be all you need. Actually, wait, I think I have to, we also have another function called set digital. So here we have pin 1 using digital, and it's using an output. And now we have to tell it that the value we want it is to be on. So this is going to turn pin 1 on.
So now connect the wires together. So just
right now you're seeing the 0 input. So let me do this real quick. So do you go in here? Can you do the full screen here? Or not? Actually, I can just zoom in here. So pin 0 is right here. So if I connect that there, the moment I touch pin 1, you'll start seeing the numbers go change. So let me go back to the terminal. There you go. If I disconnect it from pin 1, back to 0, pin 1, and you see it there that it's being written to. It's getting a value. So that's very easy to play around with. And now I guess the last thing we'll show you is just using the Gpio to turn on an LED. So if you want to explain this and how to connect it.
Sure. So this is like a super simple just LED circuit. It's an LED connected to a resistor which connects to ground. So we're just going to connect to the ground pin.
Is it full screen right now?
No. Okay, yeah, I'll make it full screen so it's bigger.
That way we can take a look at it.
See. Yeah, okay, so the creator's ground pin is basically right here. It's kind of difficult with the autofocus of the camera to see.
Oh, sorry. Let me, I'll pull up the pin on the desktop.
Yeah, that would be great. So I'm just going to connect it to the ground pin, and then the positive side of the LED to, what pin are you going to toggle? 0?
Yeah, so it's going to be toggling 0 on and off.
Okay,
so if you want to look, switch to the desktop view real quick.
Yeah. So I'll go here.
So to show what she's connecting is that we have Gpio. If you look at pins right here on expansion Gpio under Matrix Creator and Resources, you'll see she currently has pin 0 connected to the wire, and then she has the ground from I think pin 24, and that's going into the breadboard. One end going to the proper end. You know, they're both going connected to the LED.
Yeah. So the ground is connected to the negative side of the LED, with the resistor, and then the positive side is connected to the pin 0.
Yeah. So basically, just a simple like LED setup that you see in most like Arduino tutorials. So I'm gonna cancel or close the program we have running, and then set this up really quick. So we don't need this pin 1 setup anymore. Actually, wait, no, yeah. I'm just gonna remove what we have here. So I'm going to change pin 1 to pin 0. So pin 0 is the one that's going to be on and outputting a signal. Or actually, even easier, we're going to have it toggle the LED on and off to show a really cool example. So what we're going to do is, in the set interval function, we're going to have set digital for 0 to on. So the set digital function also takes in an int if you want to play around with numbers. So the reason we have an int is that you can do something like this. So let's say you want to toggle it easily, you can make a counter. So say var counter is equal to 0, and then you can have on instead of being on. 0 would be off and 1 would be on. So we'll change this to counter modulus 2. So this means it's either going to be 0 or 1 always, no matter what value it is. And then we'll just increase a counter here.
Do you want to make it more than 50 milliseconds so it's easier to see?
Like, yeah, I can make it like every half a second, so that's 500 milliseconds. I'll save that. Run index.js. And if you see, can you see the breadboard?
Oh,
you'll see.
Wait, looks like our stream is stuck. Oh, my computer's dying. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Never mind. We're all good.
Okay.
Keep going.
So if you see right here, you'll see. Let me. Can you make it full screen? I don't know. Actually, no, it's okay. I can just bring it up.
Make it full screen.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you can see that the LED is turning off and on at every half a second. So let me just put that back down. Okay. And let's go back to the regular view for the desktop.
Yeah.
Okay. So that pretty much covers the basics of MATRIX Lite for the JavaScript version. Documentation's there. The GitHub's also self-explanatory if you just want to look at that. And we also give steps on how to contribute if you want to add anything else. So the way we add features to MATRIX Lite is that if there's any ease of use, say like our microphone examples, we are using ALSA. So we have like default configurations already set for you, so you can just easily record. And though every feature in C++ we can add and expose for the Lite library. So if there's any specific C++ function or feature that you want to add, you can make a pull request or make post in our community as to what you'd like and what you want to see on there, and we'll add it whenever it goes on our roadmap. So any features we're more than open to adding, and that pretty much covers it. I guess I can talk about the Python version, which a lot of users have been asking about. Oh, okay. Is it on the desktop? Okay. So the JavaScript version is already released. If you look over here, we have the npm library already up and running, so pretty easy to set up. The Python version is still in development, so instead of JS, I'm going to go to Py. So this is the in development Python version. There is a very you can actually program with MATRIX Lite and Python. It's just very early stage. And if you go to branches and check out CC Pi setup, that's the one that we're currently working on, and that should be done within about this month or the following month. We'll have it fully open, and hopefully we'll have it on PyPy as a package, so you can just download it just as easy as the JavaScript one. But that'll be in the future, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, alright, awesome. So I'm going to bring this back to us forward, and we can...
It's a little crooked.
Yeah. Okay, so right there. Alright, so that was fun. So as you can see, like one line of code for literally like reading sensors, setting LEDs, which the other day I was helping someone do the Snips voice assistant that we have with Lite because they wanted to try it out, and it was like the code was so much shorter with MATRIX Lite, so definitely give it a shot if you want to shorten your code. And you still want to code with JavaScript or Python, and
Well, Python's still in development.
Well, Python's still in development. Yeah, keep in mind Python's still in development. But with JavaScript, like right now, it's super nice, super fast. Like when I'm doing quick testing, like because it's so fast to set up as well. Like I usually will set up Lite to do like quick testing for things. So yeah, definitely check it out. Besides that, we're gonna go over like our usual announcements. So. We have like the Snips contest in planning with Arm and Hackster, so like that's super fun. We're gonna keep giving you updates as more comes along there. And then there's the Home Automation Challenge, which is gonna end March 14th. So we're gonna put links to the Home Automation Challenge that's happening right now. It's really close to the end, but still you can go on there, see all the blog posts from all the people that have posted like cool projects, so it's just fun to check out. There's also like gonna be like a giveaway program with like a live stream from Project 14, like Element 14, and we're gonna be on the live stream. And they're gonna give away a free Matrix creator to someone who like contributes to the discussion and asks good questions. So I'll also put a link to that discussion so you can, you know, come to the live stream and ask fun questions and, you know, get a Matrix creator maybe. And besides that, like, you know, as always, keep our Matrix kits in mind. All of the links will be below. Follow us on Twitter, at Matrix_creator. Yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Just to summarize, you know, feel free to try out MATRIX Lite. It's still a new library. If you want any features or want to report anything, feel free to make a post on the GitHub or on our community forum. We'll be more than happy to try and resolve or replicate your issues. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, sounds good.
That ends livestream 115, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.